My folks are about to go on a road trip and I am helping them get some healthy food prepped. They have requested that I make them a few staples that will last them throughout the week. Now, I'm not prepping individual meals, but rather helping them have some healthy food options available while they are traveling and going out to eat. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I am meal prepping and packing up some food for my parents. They are hitting the road soon and they have asked me to help them get them ready with some food options. So healthy food options can be like hit or miss when you're traveling, and many times you are just not gonna find what you really want. And without meal prepping, you are most likely going to be stopping and buying something or a lot of things at a gas station or a fast food drive-through. Eating unhealthy food, especially when you're used to eating healthy food on a regular basis, it can just be really hard to digest and it just doesn't make you feel very good, which is not great when you're traveling. And so prepping some healthy food in advance is really important. Plus, it's also gonna save you a lot of money because fast food isn't that cheap. So they have told me that they will be bringing their camping fridge. They actually have a way of running it while they're in the car, which I think is really cool. And then they're gonna be staying at hotels that do have a refrigerator within their room. So it's not an issue if something needs to be refrigerated. And their hotel is also serving breakfast in the morning, and they will be going out to eat for lunches and dinners. So my focus is on like snacks and just some staple food items. So I was given a list of what they want. So they want sourdough English muffins. They can use these to make breakfast sandwiches, lunch sandwiches, and as a side to their dinner, or even just like a late night snack while they're in their hotel. I think I've done a great job of convincing them that like store-bought bread is not like the greatest. And so yeah, I'm not surprised that it's on the list, but that was the first thing that they said that they wanted. And then my mom also told me that she wants my homemade granola so she can have cereal in the morning. And they also want my pumpkin cookies, which are fun for like a snack or a dessert. I already made those last weekend and I like meal prepped them like in a large amount. And so I have a bunch in the freezer right now. And so I'm just going to give them some of the ones that are already done. So really all I have to do right now is make the English muffins and the granola. The next thing that they said they wanted is just some fresh produce that they can eat and nibble on while they're in the car. So they want cut up celery, carrots, and grapes. Usually the hotel provides like apples, bananas, and oranges, so I'm not prepping those. So I think what I'm gonna do is just prep the produce part of this the day before they leave so that it's as fresh as possible. And I like these options just because they won't get messy in the car. And you know, when you're traveling, you're usually not drinking like enough water or as much water as you usually drink. So I think that those like options will be really good and refreshing. And then they have a list of some store-bought clean food swaps that I believe is going to be mostly for breakfast, since they are going to be eating that at the hotel. So they can just like quickly grab it from their refrigerator in the hotel room and like bring it down to that little cafeteria area. So this includes butter, jelly, maple syrup, and some hot cocoa packets. So as you can see, I'm not like prepping full meals, but just getting some healthy like add-ins and swaps so that their meals are a bit more nourishing and just eat more easily digestible, because that's what they're used to having. Okay, so I'm gonna walk you guys through how I make these English muffins. They're incredibly simple to make and I make them all the time. So what we do is we start by feeding the starter, and I just fed my starter a half a cup of all-purpose flour. It's organic and unbleached, and then let that kind of sit throughout the day. Once it's ready and doubled in size and active and bubbly, then I know that I can prepare my dough. So I usually do that around dinner time, and I start by milling my flour. So I'm using hard white wheat berries here. I love to use freshly milled flour. The taste is so good. It's nice, definitely a much deeper like depth of flavor that it provides, you know, any baked good, including these English muffins. But it's just gonna provide so many more nutrients to the food. Definitely makes the food, like these English muffins, like a nutrient dense food, just based off of the flour that we are using. Plus we're using sourdough, we're fermenting it. It's just really gonna be high in fiber. It's gonna be more easy to digest, especially if you are somebody who has more of like a gluten sensitivity or intolerance. Obviously not good for someone who has celiac disease because you can't have any gluten at all. But if you are just somebody who struggles to consume just regular bread, but you don't have celiacs, then sourdough is a really great option when you are baking all of your breads and like baked goods. So anyways, so we're getting so many nutrients in there, and we're really just like boosting that nutrient density of the food. So I go ahead and put the flour into my large mixing bowl. I do use a little bit of all-purpose in there as well. I like to do either like a 1-to-1 or like a 3-to-1 ratio when I'm baking. That's just kind of what I've been dealing with right now. When you're using freshly milled flour, there is a lot of, all the bran is there, so it's not going to rise like it would if it was just solely all-purpose flour. So I do add a little bit in there just to help it with the rise, but it's mostly freshly milled. So there was 2.5 cups of flour in there in total. 2 cups of that was the freshly milled, and 1/2 cup was the organic unbleached all-purpose flour. And then all I have to do is then combine that with 1 cup of filtered water, and then 1/2 cup of the starter. Mix that together with my dough hook, or not my dough hook, my dough whisk. And then we just cover that with plastic, and then in the morning, we're gonna go ahead and add in the rest of the ingredients, which is a tablespoon of honey, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of baking soda. Mix that again, and you can start with the dough whisk and then just go to using your hands. I just find that to be the easiest option. And then I let it put it on the cutting board or your floured surface, and we're gonna cut it in half and then make our individual like English muffin sections. And then what you do is you just kind of like pull the sides together and pinch it, and then I like to kind of just rotate it a little bit on the cutting board. It helps to create some tension and just make it like a classic like English muffin shape. And then I go ahead and preheat, which sounds like I'm baking it, but I'm not. I'm basically just heating up my cast iron pan with a little bit of avocado oil, get that nice and hot, and then add the English muffins right in. You wanna keep a very close eye on them because they will cook rather quickly because the pan is hot, and cast iron retains heat much more evenly than like a Teflon pan or something. And this is great because it's also non-toxic, so that's why we're using this. So anyway, so once that is nice and golden brown, you're gonna flip them, and then what you're gonna do, and it probably takes about like 1.5 minutes, it doesn't really take a long time, and then what you're gonna do once you have flipped them all is you're gonna lower the heat to the lowest setting on your stovetop, and then you're going to cover them the best you can. My cover is not nearly as big as the pan, but that's okay. I did what I could. And then you're gonna set a timer for 10 minutes. Then after 10 minutes, they will be done. You're doing this so that the inside has a chance to cook, because otherwise the bottom will get really brown, but then the inside of the English muffin will not be ready. And then once it's done, you're going to allow them to cool for a little bit, and then you can slice them, and then you can put them in a Ziploc bag and freeze them, and then you can eat them all throughout the week. You can eat them right then and there. Or you could travel with them like my folks are. Okay, and now to make the granola. So this is like my vanilla maple granola. It's actually a recipe that I have in my cookbook, Eating to Nourish the Body and Soul. And I have a link for that down below in the description box. It's available to shop on Amazon. And it's a really simple recipe. It takes like almost no time to make it. So we're gonna get a large mixing bowl. We're gonna add in some chopped nuts. If you eat nuts, if you don't, you can just opt those out. I did a combination of pecans and walnuts, and I just chopped them up so that they are smaller in size so that you can bite down on them. And then I added in some quick cooking oats. I added in some pumpkin seeds, some shredded coconut that's unsweetened, very important, and then also some cinnamon. And then for the wet ingredients, we're gonna add in some melted coconut oil, and we're gonna have some maple syrup and some vanilla extract, and then I also added in a dash of salt. When I was actually making this, I usually do the wet ingredients first and then add in the dry, but clearly I went the other direction, and you know what? They still worked out great. And so then you just mix it together, which you could do with a spatula or your hands. I find it's more effective with your hands, but that's totally up to you. And then you're gonna put it on a cookie sheet that's lined with a silicone baking mat, which I love. They're reusable, they're super cheap, and they're non-toxic, which is great. And then about halfway through the cooking process, you are going to flip them around so that they cook evenly, and then cook them for another few minutes. And then you're gonna take them out and allow them to cool completely to room temperature. The granola is mostly cool now, and we're gonna try it. Oh, look at how it sticks together. Isn't that awesome? Mostly. We gotta make sure it's good. Oh, it's so good. As for the store-bought staples, this right here is the butter that we eat. Butter at the hotel and at the restaurants is most likely not going to be grass-fed, and we as a family just have gotten so used to this one. The color is like a much deeper yellow, it spreads easier, and it's more nutrient dense, and there's no added like seed oils or anything else in here. Make sure that you're checking the ingredient list on the butter that you're buying. You would be very surprised to see that some of them don't just contain butter, they contain all different types of additives. So what my mom's plan is for this is that she's probably just gonna cut like a third of the bar here and then put it in this like food storage container. And this way she's not like lugging around like an entire block of butter, but just like a little bit, and put it in here. And then she's gonna put it in like the freezer fridge section of her refrigerator, whichever side she wants to do. Here is the jar of jelly that they want. This is like a strawberry jelly, and it's from 100% fruit, and there's no added cane sugar, which is cool. It's sweetened only with fruit juices, and I think that that's awesome. And this has like convinced me that added sugar is really not necessary for like jams and jellies. They also said that they wanted a container of maple syrup for like pancakes and waffles. Usually the hotels and restaurants have the syrup that contains corn syrup and who knows what else. So this way they have what they want. And you guys, I think I've tried really hard over the years to change their like taste buds and like eating habits and help them to like get away from unhealthy ultra processed foods. And I feel like this list of like the foods that they've asked me to help them with, like meal prep in preparation for this trip, are like, is evidence that I've done a good job. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this container, this is like her little camping maple syrup bottle, and we're just going to fill it up with some of the maple syrup in here so that they're not like lugging this like heavy thing around. So we're just gonna go ahead and pour this in. I have no idea what they're gonna be eating or how often they're gonna need this, so that's probably way too much, but if it is, then she can always take some out. But this way they both have a bunch of maple syrup. You can also sweeten like your tea with this, so lots of uses. My mom loves hot chocolate, and so I ordered more of the one from Bar Life. This is my favorite instant hot cocoa mix. I got the packets, which is really cool, and so she's got like 10 of these, and all you have to do is add hot water and you've got hot cocoa. This has amazing flavor, and the ingredient list is super clean. The only things in here are coconut milk powder, coconut sugar, unsweetened cacao, ground vanilla beans, and Himalayan salt. That's it. And it's also great, especially if like you or someone you know like deals with a bunch of allergies, like food allergies. This is gluten-free, dairy-free, corn-free, soy-free. That's important to me. It's organic, it's non-GMO, vegan, kosher, plant-based, all the things. If you look at the ingredient list for like Swiss Miss, it's truly awful. I'm not exaggerating. You can go and Google it for an up-to-date ingredient list or look at the actual product the next time you're in the grocery store. But once I read that list, I was like, never again will I be consuming this. So I found this because I was not gonna give up hot cocoa, and this is just so much healthier and it tastes so, so good. These are the pumpkin cookies that are already made. So she's got them all right here. So they're just gonna be in the freezer until she's ready to go. And then my mom also wanted to have some like chocolate on hand, so she's just gonna bring one of these Hue chocolate bars. This is the nut butter filled hazelnut butter, dark chocolate, organic, 70% cacao. I love this brand. It tastes so, so good. It doesn't have like added cane sugar. It has organic unrefined coconut sugar, which is like lower glycemic index, meaning like it won't spike your glucose levels as much as like a regular cane sugar would. And it's like soy free, and there's no oil, like palm oil and sugar alcohol and all the things. So this is a really great brand. It tastes amazing. And so she's got a bar of this chocolate. And then to finish off the whole like cereal experience here, she also has these like milk containers. So this is really cool. It's like milk that doesn't need to be refrigerated. And it's low fat milk. She usually has like 0 fat milk, but this is all she could find, so she said she was just gonna go with it. And then what's nice is that it's organic, and I sincerely doubt that the milk at the hotel is gonna be organic. It's probably gonna be regular milk, and if it's not organic, then it could be like filled with like hormones and stuff. So I don't know. We're just gonna stay away from that. I personally don't drink cow's milk. I struggle to digest it, but she loves it. She drinks it every single day. And so I just try to encourage her to have one that's organic. And then to have something that's like salty and crunchy, she said she's gonna bring some of these almond flour crackers from Simple Mills. This is like our favorite cracker. And the last thing that I see on the list is Ningxia Red. This is a whole food supplement. I drink it every day. I've got my parents drinking it every single day. This is a whole food supplement made with wolfberries, which are like a specific type of goji berry, and blueberries and cherries and plums and some other fruits, along with some of Young Living's essential oils. This is an antioxidant boost for the body, and it tastes like fruit juice. It's so, so good. And this is great because it is a way to ensure that they are consuming lots of nutrients in the day while being off of their like normal eating routine. And I know that they're not going to be consuming like as many like fruits and vegetables as they're normally used to eating in a day. And so this is just a helpful like way to ensure that you're getting a lot of nutrients in the day. Plus it's already a habit for them. So they're like, well, of course we have to bring it with us. And that's it. So they know, and I know that they're going to run into like seed oils and added sugar and preservatives and like all the other stuff while they're going out to eat. So it gets really hard to like completely avoid those things. But these are just some food items that they really love. And in the past, they have had a hard time like digesting, you know, these foods, like the alternatives, and they just don't like the flavor of them anymore. So since they are able to bring some items with them, they are going to. And this just helps make their meals and snacks just a little bit healthier, so that they can feel good while they're enjoying their trip. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to check anything out, recipes, products, any of that, I'll have the links and like recipes like in the description box below, along with some discount codes. If you guys want to use them, helps you save some money, which is always great. I'd love to know, what are your favorite foods to bring while you're on a road trip, and what are your must-have travel essentials? And you can comment those down below. And with that, I will see you guys in my next video. Stay well, my friends. Bye.